Donald Trump has broken so many boundaries and he's kind of shattered. But even by Donald Trump standards, what he did this week in San Diego, when he went off on an extended rant against the federal judge hearing a case against Trump University, Indiana-born federal judge Gonzalo Curiel, who he described as a Mexican. Okay, I mean, that is a striking use of language. I think it is comparable to what he did when he did not denounce David Duke the Sunday before Super Tuesday on CNN. I mean, it is. I mean, this isn't. I mean,
we're well beyond dog whistling.
Yeah, we're well beyond dog whistling, and I think that. I mean, I think it is a very legitimate question to Donald Trump. Why is the ethnicity of this judge, who was born in Indiana, graduate of Indiana University, why is that relevant? And why is a presidential candidate attacking by name a judge in a case against him?
You know why it's relevant to Donald Trump? Because when he did that, people cheered. That's why it's relevant. It works.
And here's Donald Trump's version of a pivot. Donald Trump's version of a pivot is if you say something or do something, in the case of this judge, that displeases him, he will pivot and turn on you because he is, as he's told us, the counterpuncher. So it doesn't matter if it's somebody on your team, like the governor of New Mexico, who you might want, or somebody who's your opponent, like Hillary Clinton, or Elizabeth Warren, who he attacked this week as a big mouth Pocahontas. Not helpful. Big mouth. Women don't like that.
Peggy, if I'm a Republican running a race and I see this, it's unprecedented and quite unpredictable for Donald Trump to have gone after Susana Martinez. I mean, in other words, in a unity moment, to pick a popular rising star in the party and go after them.
And the crowd in her home state loved it, which was also a startling thing.
Well, just like Paul Ryan.
But she's a politician and he's not.
Right.
I mean, it's a basic
Isn't that a level of unpredictability that's going to be, that's what makes other Republican lawmakers nervous, that there's always might be one of those exciting
that's the
moments.
question for those running for the House and for the Senate, that every day they'll have to be parsing their way through, oh my God, how do I respond to this? They'll all have to be figuring out a way to deal with it. Donald Trump ought to do those men and women a favor and stop this, but it's not sure that he can. We talked about people around Hillary can't tell her the truth. Who around Donald Trump says to him, boss, stop this. Don't do that anymore. It's
more than its random comments. I mean, Donald Trump could have been defined to the public in a number of different ways. He could have been defined as the business guy bringing his private sector expertise to do kind of a rehab on the economy and government. He could have been defined as the outsider coming to clean up a corrupt political system. And those are both parts of his identity. But the third part, the core, I think, of how he got to the nomination was this identity this identity as kind of the embodiment of kind of racial backlash and kind of anxiety over changing demography. And he keeps going back into those waters this week with Susana Martinez and with the judge. And that kind of underscores the real problem. It's not holding together the Republican coalition. It's that the Democratic coalition, which is essentially diverse America and the portions of white America most comfortable with that, will turn out in big numbers. And even if the Republican coalition does turn out, he probably can't overcome that.
Last word to you, Jeff.
Peggy, he's not going to stop insulting Mexicans and Native Americans as he did this week because it's working, and he goes with what works. I think that's a simple. It's working for. It encourages his base. It brings out his base and makes him.
But part of the reason it does work with his base, I think, is that they kind of hate politicians. They hate the political class. They're not wild about us. And when he makes fun of the official elites of America, in no matter what way, they kind of like it because they don't like
Mexican Americans are not the elites of America.
But a big person like Martinez. Do you know what I mean?
The judge? I don't know.
We'll have to leave it there. Thanks all of you for that lively discussion. We'll be right back.